Hi everyone, welcome to the last session of the day. My name's Sarah Blowers and I'm the director of the Co-Creating Change Network at Battersea Arts Centre, and I'm super excited about this session because we've got live music in it. So I'm going to introduce Carl. Hello Carl, thank you very much. And this session's led by Judah Armani, who I met at a Co-Creating Change event a few months ago, and I was really inspired by the work he does.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm going to welcome, first of all, and Sarah said, my name's Judah Armani, and I'm delighted to have been asked to share at this beautiful and worthwhile event. I'm going to introduce Carl in a second, but let me see if I can share my screen. Brilliant. So I hope everyone can see that. So actually, Carl, can you say a quick hello just to make sure that that your mic is on, and also that that you can see that
Hello.
screen?
I can see a pink screen.
Love that. All right, beautiful. You're going to hear more from Carl in a second. So I'm the head of Social Impact Lab within the Royal College of Art. And in addition, I held some various other positions at some various other design institutions. I've also got a practice where I develop initiatives and sometimes enterprises that can nurture and foster change. So essentially, I spend my time learning and doing, and my practice, whether learning or doing, is about change. And Carl, you might want to mute that as well, by the way. And a factor in my practice is co-creation. And we're going to talk a little bit, obviously we're going to talk a lot about co-creation, but we're going to talk a little bit about actually to what end co-creation. And so I will circle around that topic for a bit. But one such initiative that has been co-created is a record label called InHouse Records that you're going to be hearing from a little bit later. And that operates in a range of UK prisons and a couple of correctional facilities in America now as well. This record label was designed to reduce reoffending, but actually it also creates music too, and that's part of what we're going to share. It has a reoffending rate of less than 1%, although there have been recalls. And we're a fully functioning record label, publishing and distributing our music through Sony. But more about InHouse in a second. Over this session, I'm going to share with you some tips and thoughts, 4 takeaways around co-creation and change. So they're those areas of purpose, definition, scope, and outcomes. And in between those, you're going to hear some co-creative storytelling from Carl, and that's going to be, hopefully, it's going to be, it should be joining of both a bit about how InHouse worked in its mechanical co-creative session, and then also from Carl's perspective and some of the other guys. So purpose, and this is an important element of co-creation that I wanted to kick off with really, really quickly. I am showing you a painting, and it's one by a guy called Edouard Manet from around late 1800s. And this is a place in Paris called Folies Bergère. Why am I showing you this? Because you'll notice that in the background, it's a mirror. So it's the reverse of the lady that's looking at us. And in the top right-hand corner, you can see a gentleman. And it took me some time when I first saw this painting to work out. I have no idea what Manet wanted to do or get across in this painting. I don't profess to have that kind of art history mind. But for me, it created a really interesting provocation, which is what happens when you look in the mirror and you don't recognize the image facing back at you. And when I first saw this painting, it was a time in my life where I didn't really recognize who I was, and I wanted to change. And change became the purpose for the work I did. So the purpose of co-creation for me is around change, and it's important for anybody, for all of you as practitioners or people that are interested in co-creating as a practice, to also be aware of what end, what is the purpose, because change could be one outcome. For somebody else, it might be in order to develop an arts initiative, whether that's a theatre piece or whatever. But what the purpose is really important. So for me, I was an outsider in my own world, and I needed help to change that. But when I'm able to co-create with other people who want change, that can create a better change for me. So when you can't find a place for yourself in society because of your skin color or your gender or your nationality or your neurodiversity or your disability or whatever, you become an outsider. And the more you can't find a place, the further you fall on the outside. So this is the premise for my pursuit of change that can help me become a better version of myself, but also I invite others on that change journey. The change I want is often different to the change people that I'm co-creating with, but it provides a baseline of equity. We're all in this for change. So it is important in terms of the purpose for co-creation, because if there's equity, if what you want out of it is the same as whom you want to co-create, or it's the same narrative, then co-creation can happen with the least amount of friction. And that's quite an important element there. So I want change in my life because I wasn't satisfied who I was, and I still want change in my life because I'm not satisfied with who I am. The initiatives that I look to co-create foster change. And even though the change that I'm seeking is different to maybe the change to the people that I'm co-creating with, this allows us to be able to change together. So the important takeaway here is that I share the purpose of co-creation for me, and I suggest all of you to think, to what end is co-creation important to you? What purpose would you like to deploy co-creation? I'm going to see, and so that's purpose. Definitions, I'm going to see if I can actually play this, if you can hear it. Or actually, no, Tom, could you do the first track? You can take that from there.
Judah, can you stop sharing? I can play the track.
Yeah, I can, my friend. Boom.
My prince will come someday with me.
Awesome. Thank you. So what you'll have heard there is a 1937 track from a film called Snow White. It was distributed via cinema, right? It was created for kids. And there were various different networks around the cinema narrative in order to be able to distribute that. Tom, can you play and it was cartoon format. Can you play the next bit, please? Awesome. So that's 1961, so maybe 20 odd years later. And it was Miles. And it's the same track. Actually, it was Miles and Coltrane, but it's the same track on an album, on vinyl, distributed through record stores for a completely different audience. So there's lots changed. There's no singing. Miles decided to give the melody line to the trumpet instead of singing it. Why am I playing you these two bits of music? Because co-creation can be a conversation across space, time, and culture. In just 25 years, the imagery is different. The products and the tools used to create this version are different. The services employed, even the audience is different, and the networks for distributions are different. But the co-creation that's taking place, across space, time, and culture isn't just about the people that are in the room. So when you don't limit your co-creation to the people who are in that room that you're co-creating with, for me, in terms of change, that's a river that has been flowing for years, and people well before my intervention have been trying to co-create, and people well after my intervention are co-creating. So this understanding of a conversation across space, time, and culture, that it doesn't have to be limited to just the people, but we can use things that have gone on before us. We can use things that are going on right now, but in different countries and different places, in order to be able to fuel that into the co-created conversation that we're having in that limited space. Carl, over to you, bro.
Hello, everyone. So my name's Carl. I work for InHouse Records as artist manager, mentor, kind of like I do kind of a few roles. So I'm an artist as well. I go by C Roots as my artist name. So I first started with InHouse, finishing off a prison sentence. So I was in an open prison, and Jude come into the prison and started the program. Brilliant. So I wasn't really sure what it was, because I've done like loads of music programs in prison, but none quite like this. So at first it was like, come and look, you can learn the managerial side of the music industry. You can come and learn the business side. You can learn the instrument side. You can songwrite, make beats. So there was so many options, which normally there's not. Every jar I've been to that does music, there's not so many options. And then the main cherry on the cake was that once we were cleared, once our security level went down, we was going to be allowed to go and do theatre shows. So I first started doing the program. Then we done like a show inside the prison for the fellow prisoners, and then they let our family come in. So we done a show for our family, and that was like amazing. Like, because when you're in prison, normally you can only see like 3 adults and like, I don't know, 4 kids or whatever. But this time they allowed us to have 10 visitors. So it was like amazing having so many of my family like in one place. It was amazing. So then like my security level went down and I moved off. Have you ever done that? My security level went down and I moved on to go and do the theatre shows. That was an experience. Like, we all came out from the prison on a minibus without any staff, just with all of the kit, bass, guitars, drums. It was amazing. The whole experience was just amazing, liberating, because that sort of stuff is actually normal. Really, it's like normal stuff to do, but because we haven't been treated normal in so long, it was just like out of this world. So we went and done the theatre shows. I think I'm sure we've done 5 theatre shows. So in the other Palace Theatre, so he's going back and forth. And then I just ended up being the one for one of us to get out for open prison, there's lots of paperwork, and sometimes you have to chase it. So I just ended up chasing all of the paperwork, making sure everyone has filled it out correctly. And then Jude and the guys, they come to me and said, so I think it was the last theatre show that we done, no, second from last, and they pulled me aside and said, look, we like your organization skills, do you want a job when you get out? So I was like, hell yes. Do music and come on, I'm involved. Anything to do with music, I'm involved. So got the job. So literally, because that's the one thing you worry about, is getting a job when you're in prison. You think, how am I going to get a job? No one's going to want to employ me because I've been to prison. So that was like a big weight off of my shoulders, having a job as soon as I walked out. So Jude said, like, as soon as I'm ready to work, as soon as I step out the gate, I can have the job. So but before that, so I started coming out, doing sessions with Jude, going up to Brighton. So we was doing, like training sessions. So he was just training me, showing me what it's going to take to be an artist manager and whatnot. So that was amazing. Learned a lot of stuff. So then I got out on a Friday, and then on a Monday I started work, and I've not to look back since. It's been amazing. So with the theatre shows, like we co-created like track lists. So we done the running list, and you know, like we worked as a band. So not only did I work with Jude to co-create the track list, like who's on first and whatnot, how the shows, who's going to do the intro, the outro and whatnot, but with the guys as well, we co-created like a whole show together. So we're individual artists, but we done like basically like a big medley where we all supported each other, done each other's backing vocals and whatnot, and it's just amazing. The show just took off. So that is how I first started InHouse, and that is how we became co-creators. So like I want to introduce you to some more people that co-create with me. So the first up, we ready, guys? So we're gonna do a song right now. This is called I'ma Do Me. So this man over here is my brother. This is how I met him.
Hello everyone. Hello.
So this is G-Man. This is Big Movie. So Movie lived next door to us for years, so he's like family. We're all one family. This is George on the guitar. So George is with InHouse as well. So me and George met through the theatre shows and stuff. So this song basically is called I'ma Do Me, and it's something to just create. We thought we'd just make something to create some vibes, you know, get the mood pumping. So we're gonna start, yeah.
One. Check. Yeah. Shit. Roots. East LONT. InHouse gang. Yo. C roots, I always stay true. So I'ma do me and you can do you. My truth, I just wanna get the loot car, wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. See roots, I always stay true, so I'ma do me and you can do you. My truth, I just wanna get the loot car, wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. Trying to get this paper in abundance. I ain't sitting down without fondants. I walk with giants, call me humongous. V5 from 10 beats a march. I ain't on the bad man thing, I got a madman ring, we got the stats and thing. That ain't the life I live though. Been there, seen it, done bare bird soul. Going back to the cage, not optional. Gotta win this game, live my best life possible. Too driven to losing's improbable. Always complete mission, anything's possible. Cruise through life, never lost it all. Fuck a tom-tom, mission impossible. I made possible. Held on to my soul, yeah, still got my balls. Big move, always stay true, so I'ma do me and you can do you. My truth, I just wanna get the loot car, wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. Big move, always stay true, so I'ma do me and you can do you. My truth, I just wanna get the loot car, wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. I've been out here for years, never could have fade away. This time it's different, dog. I'm here to stay. Look, it's 2021 and everybody's mental. I'm taking it back with my pad and my pencil. I'm writing in the dark again. My pen's bleeding. I'll bust it in the sky. Now everybody's screaming the weak of this shitting. Lies from the telly. I could never be your hamster, dog. I want the belly. Humble in success. Nah, dog, I'm stressed. Pass me the something with the belly in the vest. I've been grinding for time. It's time to take mine. I'ma kidnap the man with a back. Let me rhyme. If something pops off, it's caught back for now. I broke myself free, dog. It's due to go down. I got a head full of ammo. There's fire in my palm. You could try it if you like. I'm here. It's calm. G-Slew, always stay true. So I'ma do me and you can do you. My truth, I just wanna get the loot car. I wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. G-Slew, always stay true. So I'ma do me and you can do you. Mad truth, I just wanna get the loot car when I feel the sun, when I fling down roof.
You only get one life, I'm gonna make sure that I live it. And everything I do, I'm trying to take it to the limit. When it comes to these bars, I'm trying to be the best who did it, flowing from my inner spirit. As I come up with these lyrics, I'm trying to put my heart and my soul and all of the rhythms. I'm trying to do it big so my family can live different. I've gotta be sharp and efficient every time I kick it. Flow's gotta be wicked, man knows what I does. Skill sent from above, they can't chat to me, bruv. All I do is do me, it comes naturally, bruv. So I'm spitting like I'm supposed to, and that's quite of them most too. Trying to duck me any rhythm my vocal. Anybody blocking my path, I've got a ghost you. So fall back before I show you, cause I might go berserk, get murked by a reverse. Man, I put you in a hearse with your head back in reverse, but I told you.
See roots, I always stay true, so I'ma do me and you can do you. Mad truth, I just wanna get the loot car, wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. Big move, always stay true, so I'ma do me and you can do you. Mad truth, I just wanna get the loot car, wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. G-slew, always stay true, so I'ma do me and you can do you. Mad truth, I just wanna get the loot car, wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. Our crew, I'ma stay true, so y'all gonna do it and y'all gonna do you. Our truth, we just wanna get the loot car, we wanna feel the sun when I fling down roof. But you in-house gang. Come on, bless.
Thank you. All about that. Loving that. Thanks,
Did you hear
guys.
clearly?
Perfectly. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So that's a beautiful segue. Carl was talking about coming together and co-creating, and actually various bits of what I'm going to talk about is just going to loop back in again to what Carl was saying. So just before we broke off for that interlude and for Carl's story, we talked about purpose. So to what end do you want to co-create? What is it you want to co-create for? As we just all shared now, it's about co-creating for change. And also like the definition, and for me, it's a conversation, and that actually brings in many different people. Scope is, well, who does it bring in? And this is, sorry for taking everyone back a couple of hundred years. This is another painting from Manet. And again, it's Paris, 1860-ish, and it's called Music in the Tuileries Gardens. Why am I showing you this painting? Because this is a painting where Manet basically painted everybody he knew at the time. So within this image is his friends, his family, his peers, sometimes his competition, his rivals, and even himself is in this. I'm showing it because for the purpose of change and co-creation, whom is part of that conversation, if we're accepting that co-creation is a conversation that takes place across space, time, and culture, then everybody who is in the problem area is involved in that conversation. So for in-house was never going to be a goer if it was just limited to me and guys in prison. We needed the governors around the table. We needed those that had were on probation. We needed judges. We needed employers. We needed kids at PRUs. We needed police. We needed Ministry of Justice, policymakers, Universal, record companies. We needed everyone that was occupying the problem area. And actually, the problem area is often larger than you think. So when you look at scope of the co-creation in terms of who's going to be involved, the definition to define the scope of your co-creation, ensure all that who would be affected by this are included in your co-creation. So they become co-creators. So as I say, for us, it's about change. Therefore, the area is the problem area that we're looking at. And therefore, everybody that's in the problem area needs to be represented around that table to co-create. I'm going to hand over to Carl for the next slot.
So sorry, technical difficulties. So yeah, so I'm just gonna, before I go into a next bit of co-creation, so like I just wanted to talk about the stuff that we do within in-house. So my job is to help the guys that come out. So all of the grads that come out of the prison, if they want to still be involved, then they'll call me or they'll call Grace, one of our producers, and we'll find out a bit about what they want to do, and then we'll get them studio sessions. So my job, so Grace is a producer, amazing producer, and she does the bookings. My job really is to like mentor, because I've been in that position before, so I understand some of the gripes and the strains of being in prison and being released from prison, because it is hard work. So I kind of help them to utilize their session well, because sometimes they might waste a little bit of time. Even they could just get writer's block, so I can, because I'm a good songwriter, so I can help them get over their writer's block. But I feel, because of my journey, I feel that it's a lot easier for me to get through to the guys than it is for any of the other staff, because I'm the only member of staff that's been to prison. To get what I'm saying? So I've found it. I've never had any dramas getting anything out of the guys, because I think, like when I first started working, so Jude asked me to speak to 3 grads, and when I finished, like he said, that I got more out of them in 5 minutes of conversation than he has in 3 months. So I think it's just because I've been in that position, I can be more direct. I'm not rude or nothing like that. I'm just more direct, just straight talking. I would talk to them as if it's me next to them on the landing in the prison, or me next to them in a pub. I'll just talk to them normal and they talk to me back normal. I think it just works. So I'm going to do another piece, right? So, but let me just let you know how I met this lovely lady here. This is Janina, Baby J. So my friend messaged me on Insta and said, like, my friend, she's a really good singer. She reminds me of you. Like, she's got your bubbly personality. I think you'll make really good music together. So then I'm like, okay, like where you don't know someone, you don't know what should I message? I feel funny messaging and that, innit? So like he said, look, she's waiting for your message. Just message her. So I've messaged, and like I just said basically, like I heard you're into music. But do you fancy a collab? And then we so I sent her like something, and then she sent me something back, a voice note, and I was like, no, we have to collab. Voice of an angel. So this next track is called Frequency, and it's just mad how we've gelled together since that first initial meeting. We're family now. So this is Frequency, yeah, acoustic version.
1, 2.
Yeah. Roots, Baby J. Frequency.
No matter what they do to us, we're coming through. Frequency so high, we're blowing through the roof. They can't hold us down, we're making moves. We're gonna get this paper, gonna get that loot.
Yo, look, thought it was gone forever. Nah, figures thought I'd be weathered. Nah, Peter Pan forever. Frequency so high you can't measure. Shit, I do this at my leisure. P's and Q's, you're welcome, my pleasure. Take a walk in my shoes, never, never. Land is what we measure. Before the foundation set, get the picture. Stack what every day I endeavor. Till I take my last breath, which is never. Like I said, I am forever. Love to my lost boys in the slammer. Fire bun, Trenton, Bobby Lee swagger. Shit, I love the glitz and the glamour. The universe, the limit, Baby J, tell them mama.
No matter what they do, us we're coming through. Frequency so high, we're blowing through the roof. They can't hold us down, we're making moves. We're gonna get this paper, gonna get that loot.
Jake, they say we shine too much. Figure see us doing good and one thing pipe up. Car lights too much. They can't dance the side, so I don't care much. I step up on the stage and I do my stuff. Y'all are more preemie, y'all are more touch. Figures won't be me, but try act up. What I know about archery and platinum cuffs. I've been in them trenches, living life rough. Now I'm living my best life. This life I love, the light's too bright. Put your shades on, cause the lights never dying, only ever getting strong. Climb to the top, beat my chest like King Kong. See roots, disappeared but never gone. See roots, eat the beat, it's nothing long. Always on the winning team, making them hit songs. So we said,
no matter what they do to us, we're coming through. Frequency so high, we're blowing through the roof. They can't hold us down, we're making moves. We're gonna get this paper, gonna get that loot.
tell them, mama.
If you know me, then you know what to do. Just come bring that good energy with you. I ain't got no time for negativity. I've got the universe and stars are inside of me. No matter what they do to us, we're coming through. Frequency so high, we're blowing through the roof. They can't hold us down, we're making moves. We're gonna get this paper, gonna get that loot.
This paper,
No matter what they do to us, we're coming through.
we're coming through.
Frequency so high, we're blowing through the roof. They can't hold us down, we're making moves. We're gonna get this paper, gonna get
Get this
this
paper.
Get this paper, get this paper. Yeah.
We're getting loot. Get it.
Coming through. Do what I get to know.
Big up Leon side on the street.
Leon!
Come on, rap. Pattern gang.
Pattern.
Vibes. Holy for vibes. Hey.
That's awesome. Thank you.
They're hot.
Okay, so we've talked. Actually, we haven't talked. I've talked. I've bored you all with purpose. So, to what end do we want to co-create? It's just worth keeping that in mind to always ask continually when starting upon some kind of co-creation project. To what end? What is the purpose for this? We've explored a little bit about definition, and certainly for me, co-creation is a conversation that takes place over space, time, and culture. So don't just limit it to those people in the room, but recognize that in the purpose that you're co-creating, others might have gone before you. Is there anything you can learn from them? And we've talked about how it's for all who are occupying the area that you want to create this purpose in. So for me, it's everyone that's in the problem area that I've defined that then become co-creators. Hopefully that will make sense. So this last bit of the chunk is around outcomes, and not wanting to disappoint because I'm quite boring in that sense. It's another picture by a guy called Manet, no surprise there. And this is sort of late 1800s. Everything is roughly late 1800s. And this painting is called The Railway. And I've included it. Well, you will notice, right? It's called The Railway, but you can't actually see the railway. It's vague. In fact, this whole painting is full of uncertainty. We don't really see the railway. It's covered in this steam. We don't really know what the relationship is between the woman looking at us and the girl that's looking away. We can't see her face, and it captures, I think, the uncertainty that was probably going around the time in terms of the second industrial revolution that was coming to Paris, or to the world, really. Thoughts not dissimilar that we might have today. Am I going to be replaced by a robot? What does machine mean to me? It was all vague. It was all uncertain. The reason why I'm showing this is because my role in co-creating is that of a host, right? I am bringing together as many people in that problem area to have a conversation across space, time, and culture, but to do so in an equitable way, but with an understanding that co-creation is uncertain, it's high risk, it might not work. So if you want a guarantee of the outcome being certain, then it's probably not going to be a fully co-creative process. At some point, you'll intervene, or someone will intervene to make sure that it delivers on what you want it to deliver, in which case it's some kind of hybrid. And that's fine, it's okay, but it's good to have that framework in your mind before, so that you're not halfway through a project and you're like, no, we said we'd deliver something. So now someone needs to intervene in order to make the thing that we said it's going to deliver. For me, co-creation is a very high risk thing. There have been initiatives that I've been involved with that has been a co-creative approach, and we haven't delivered, and that's fine. I don't create the change. As a host, I just create the space for change to happen. And if I was going to intervene to create the change, then it wouldn't be co-creative in that sense. It would be something different. So InHouse, for example, as a record label, wasn't my idea. It was the overflow of bringing all those involved in the problem area together with equity and hosting a safe and enabling space that can birth change. So please remember that as hosts, those of you that are going to be hosting co-creation, our role is to nurture the space for the co-creation to take place, but not the actual change. The actual change should happen by those that are co-creating. Hopefully that makes sense. Over to Carl for the last bit.
Right, so before I bring another piece, so like at InHouse, we measure ourselves and the graduates that release from prison and that are in prison on 3 competencies. So that's communication, adaptability, and accountability. So there's lots underneath each umbrella, but it's a good way to measure ourselves to make sure we're doing our jobs correctly. And if we're measuring ourselves and we're leading by example, sometimes like you might get you don't know what someone's background is, so you when you lead by example, if someone keeps dealing with you, even if they're dealing with other people without the correct etiquettes, they'll start dealing with you with the right etiquette because they understand this is how you communicate. So after a while, I feel like it's inevitable. It will just start spreading to other people, and then they'll just realize these etiquettes is how you survive on the outside world. Because jail is very different. It's like a lot with the prison communities in certain jails, manners is a myth. So when they come to us, sometimes they could be a little bit raw. So it's just about trying to nurture, and like change starts from within. So from when you can check yourself and make these changes from within and start leading by example, it's our hope that the guys will follow. So so this that I'm gonna give you another piece, right, that I wrote. So this was inspired by creation. So on the 29th of October, just gone, I was blessed to have a granddaughter. Her name is Isla. So this is a song that I wrote for Isla. So yeah, enjoy, and it's called Isla. One sec, let me just put this, because I'm not holding the mic. Oh. Let's get it. Yeah.
It's a new day, a new dawn. The princess is born. Isla, your throne awaits. Yeah. When I look into your eyes, I feel your heart inside of mine. You are my child, designed for me to love. You're a magical, divine being, a beacon of new light, taking the world with your new eye. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Guide. Innocence is your gift. I want to shelter you from this life and all its cold and dark inside. You are my life. Sticks and stones won't take yours. I'll take all that pain for my own. I am your castle and your mine. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Your guide. This is your kingdom, you own it. May you rule in righteousness. You will be queen of queens. Your bloodline is your crest. Yeah. Born to win, achieving nothing but the best. I'll be your shining light to guide you every step. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. God, 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 I'll be your God. I'll be your God. 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 I'll be your God. I'll be your God. Your God. Your guide. Ooh, love you, Isla. And you, Bear.
That's awesome. Carl, can you let the there was a question up on the conversation for people asking to know where they can hear more of your music. So maybe plug the gig and then any other spaces they can.
Okay, so let me start with, we've got InHouse Records gig on the 9th of December in the Star of Kings in King's Cross. Doors open at 7 and doors close at 1 o'clock. It's going to be amazing. We've got an amazing array of music, mixture of genres. It's going to be amazing. So my page, so let's go with my page. So I'm c.roots, and you'll find my link tree on my Insta. So if you look on the Insta in my profile, the link tree is there. So c.dot roots. Janina, come here, please. Everyone's going to plug their pages.
Yeah, YouTube at official baby J, official _ baby JAI, and Facebook official baby J, YouTube official baby J. Thank you.
What's going on, man? Everything big _ movie everywhere.
Music by Leonside.
Pattern gang.
Awesome. Bless, bro. So we are almost at the end. I'm going to do a little quick summary and wrap up. But before I do, Carl, did you want to say a last few words to everyone?
Well, I think the more people that support InHouse, the more progress we're going to make, the more change we're going to make. We need to make some noise. So this is the start of this gig. We're going to make some noise. So please come and support us, and please spread the word, and please follow our pages. Eh?
Wow, that's awesome. Bless you. Thank you. So guys, I literally just in closing, well, before I do, hang on a minute. There was a question there from Stephanie. So Stephanie asked, is it more powerful, purposeful for members of InHouse to own and describe this process, accountable, adaptable communication, and map it as experiential learning, doing it better, longer, stronger? So a short answer to that is yes. A slightly longer answer to that is when we can focus on our strengths comes real progress, as opposed to starting with a deficit mindset of where the problems are, where our weaknesses are. So when we can look at things where we already are strong in, communication, elements of verbal, non-verbal, written, that kind of thing, or accountability, where we take responsibilities for stuff and build on that, it allows us to see things already strengthened, as opposed to start with a deficit mindset of like, well, these are the areas where we're failing in. Again, I think I mentioned that in the QA. That's just all of this is based on opinions, and the caveat that I might be wrong about everything. So just wanted to keep that in context. So look, in summary, before I close, and we'll be closing just before 5 o'clock, so that will be bang on time. For me, co-creation needs a purpose. So I'll encourage you all to think about the purpose that you want to apply co-creation to. For us at InHouse, it's been about change. Co-creation, as a definition for me, is about a conversation that takes place over space, time, and culture, and not to limit those who are the co-creators to that conversation, but actually it's a conversation that can go back into history and be formed and informed by that which is around us. It's a conversation for everyone who will be affected by the initiative. In our case, that's everybody who occupies the problem area, and that problem area is always bigger than we think. And it's a conversation that needs hosting in order to create the space for change, but not the actual change itself. So we feel very privileged and honored to A, be invited, and then B, to be able to share some of our thoughts around co-creation. I know C Roots and Leonside and the rest of the guys really valued this opportunity, and I certainly did as well. So I think unless there's anything else that Sarah, you want to jump in on the closing few minutes, we can wrap it up and say thank you very much, and we'll see everybody very soon.
I just want to say thank you so much. What a beautiful way to end the day. Thank you, Carl, and everyone in your studio. It was a perfect end to my day to sit here and listen to some great music and feel really inspired. So thank you so much. And Judah, I always like hearing you talk, and it is always from the heart. And I think your opinions are great, which is exactly why I wanted you to be here today. So yeah, just a massive thank you, and keep up the good work. And if anyone can get to see that gig, it sounds great. Cheers all.